Hello again and welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. In this video I want to talk a little bit about the different things you have at your disposal in your signal chain to give you control over the volume of your guitar. Basically this is inspired, I got a comment on one of my other videos the other day, video that talks about the difference between active pickups and passive pickups. And in that video I mentioned that one criticism I've heard from people about active pickups is that you don't get as much control over the volume through the volume control on the guitar. And somebody had posted a comment on the video saying, right, so does that mean that if I get a guitar with active pickups in, I've got the choice between playing really, really quietly or so loud that it's going to annoy the neighbours? Now that's not quite the case. So what I thought I'd do here is talk about the different things you've got that allow you to control the volume on your guitar. Now your signal chain will probably vary from mine, you'll have different pedals and so on, but there's still three fundamental things in the signal chain which 99.9% of guitarists I think are going to have. First off, obviously, is the volume control on the guitar. This is where this whole discussion started. You've also got two things on the amplifier that give you control over volume. The preamp input, or the gain control as it's sometimes called, and the power amp volume control. Now an amplifier is split into two halves basically, so we'll start with the amplifier end of things. It's the amplifier that actually gives you the volume. It amplifies the signal out of the guitar. Now the thing that really gives you the control over the volume is the power amp. That's the last thing in the signal chain. The sound comes out of the power amp and into the speakers, and it's the power amp that gives you the volume. So if you've got a 50 watt amplifier or a 100 watt amplifier or whatever, that wattage, what it's talking about is the power that's coming out of the power amp stage. So if you turn the volume control on your power amp right the way down, that's keeping the neighbours happy, it's nice and quiet. If you turn it all the way up, that's getting really loud, that's starting to annoy the neighbours. Now that'll be labelled differently on different types of amplifier. It could be like master volume or just volume or something like that. But basically if you've messed around with your amplifier at all, you will know which knob it is that makes the signal a whole lot louder. That's basically what that is, that's the control of the power amp stage, which is all about volume. The input on the amp, the start of it, is what's called the preamp stage, and that will probably have volume, another control on it, something like gain or drive or something like that. Now what that does is it actually does increase the volume, it increases the signal level going into the preamp. And what happens is when the signal gets to a certain level, a certain amount of signal going in, basically it's more than the preamp can handle, and it just starts to break up and it starts to distort, which on the face of it sounds like an undesirable thing to do, but you'll know that if you've heard a good guitar sound before, good rock guitar sound, it's all about distortion and overdrive, and that's what you're getting. It's basically the preamp stage of the amplifier getting more signal than it can handle, and the signal starting to distort, and with the right electronics in the preamp stage, it can give you guitar tone a certain voice, and it gives you that distorted, that overdriven sound. So that the difference between a good amplifier and a bad amplifier in that respect is one that can kind of take the distorted sound and make it sound good rather than just horrible and broken up and just wrong. So let's play around a little bit with the preamp stage. So what I've got here with my guitar, I'm just playing the Thompson Custom with humbucker pickups into my amplifier on the dirty channel. No real effects other than I've got a digital delay in the loop and a little bit of reverb on the amp. And I've got it set up for dirty sound, quite dirty, sounds like this. Now if I reach over and I'll turn the gain down a little bit, so as you can hear, that's less overdriven, it's less gain, there's less drive to it, but it's also a little bit quieter, and that's because there's less signal going into the preamp, so that's what gives you the less overdriven sound. If I go the other way and I'll turn the gain right the ways up, as you can hear. Also, there was a little bit of an increase in volume, again because there's more signal going into the preamp to overdrive it, but not the sort of volume gains that you would get for an equivalent amount of movement on the volume control on the power amp. So if you're setting up your basic guitar sound, what I recommend you do is you get your guitar turned up full, set the master volume on the amp to something manageable, tweak the gain control to get the sort of overdrive sound that you want, and then just you can fine tune how loud it is by using the master volume on the power amp. So that covers the amplifier end of things. What about the guitar? Because you have got a volume control on the guitar. I mean, this is where this whole conversation started. And people use the volume control, or they sort of underuse the volume control a lot. A lot of people, the volume control is almost just like a switch. It's either full volume or it's turned off because they're in between songs or they're talking like this. But think about what's happening in the preamp section of the amplifier. As you turn the gain control up, you get more overdrive. As you turn the gain control down, you get a bit less overdrive. Yeah, and all that's doing is boosting the amount of signal that goes into the preamp. So more signal, more overdrive, less signal, less overdrive, cleaner sound. And you can get a similar sort of effect just by using the volume control on the guitar. It might help if you think about the component parts. Think about the amplifier as being like an additive part of the signal chain. It's able to add signal. It is by definition, it's an amplifier. It amplifies the sound. The guitar is more of a subtractive thing. If you start with the guitar on full volume and then you turn the volume down, basically you're just putting less signal into the amplifier, you're cutting the amount of signal. So if I'm playing on full volume, I get my distorted sound I was playing with before. If I turn the volume control down a little bit, it gets a little bit quieter, very slightly quieter, but the main difference there for me is it's less distorted. It's less distorted sound as I turn the volume control down. So if you've got a decent set of pickups, decent potentiometer in your volume control, the volume control does much more than just adjust the volume of the guitar. Yes, you can turn it down to 0 to give you zero volume, keep the guitar quiet, but at the in-betweeny stages, it's actually acting a bit like a fine-tuner for the amount of drive that you've got through the preamp. Something you might want to experiment with is setting yourself up a guitar sound where you've got your guitar turned up on full, you've got the amp set how you want it to give you your basic lead sound. And then find a spot with the volume control where you can turn it down. That gives you your rhythm sound. And then you knock the volume control right the ways up full to give you like your full fat lead sound. Now if you're used to just playing with the guitar on full volume or the guitar on 0, that might take a little bit of getting used to, just being able to intuitively get the volume control just the position that you want. Particularly if it's one that doesn't have numbers marked on it, so you haven't necessarily got the frame of reference. But you might be surprised just how quickly you get a feel for for where you turn the control, and it gives you a lot more flexibility, and you can play like from the guitar, and I think it feels a much more organic experience than having to rely on boost pedals and overdrive pedals to give you the different levels of gain and boost to your sound. Summing it up, you could think about the power amp stage, like the master volume control on the amplifier, as being the thing that gives you volume, gives you like sound intensity. The preamplifier, the gain control, is much more about giving the guitar signal, the guitar sound, its voice. It's about adjusting the amount of gain that you have. The volume control on guitar, whilst it's capable of turning the guitar off, so yes, you have got a loudness of volume control as well, it's much more than that, and there's also a factor in adjusting just the voice of the guitar in the way that the preamplifier control on the amp is as well, so it gives you some control over the gain. Okay, so I hope you found that useful, particularly if it was you that asked me the question about volume coming out of active pickups. I've forgotten who it was that asked me the question now, so I've gone blank and forgotten your name. Anyway, if you did find it useful, please do click on like, subscribe, or all the various options down there. If you didn't like it, feel free to click the dislike button, or leave a comment, some sort of constructive criticism. Please don't, as somebody did the other day, just leave a comment saying "F off, you boring." If you don't like my video, at least try and have the imagination to come up with something a bit more constructive than that. Or even better, if you don't like the sort of stuff that I do, hopefully you'll be inspired and you'll actually, if you think you can do better, come on and give YouTube the benefit of your wisdom. Sorry, went off at a bit of a tangent there. Okay, thanks very much for watching. As always, if you've got any other suggestions for things you want me to cover in other video tutorials, then follow this link here. It takes you to a page on the PhatPhish website where you can ask a question. And please do tell me where you are in the world and a little bit about yourself. It's always good to know a bit about the people who are watching these videos and submitting questions. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video next time. Bye for now.